Today we'll be testing out some homemade watercolors with basically 2 ingredients, baking soda and food coloring. I guess 3 if you include water. You'll also need a tin of some sort to separate the colors. I'm using a chocolates tin and something to stir them, so I am just using some toothpicks. So to start off, I am just filling each tin with some baking soda, basically enough to fill the bottom of the tin and a little extra. I've never tried this before, so we are going to see how this goes. My thought process is, what happens if you are quarantined in your house and you want to paint? Then you realize that you don't have any and don't want to leave your house. 2 ingredient watercolors seem like a pretty good deal to me. So once I have each tin filled, I'm going to put in food coloring. I realized as I opened my box that I only had green and orange, yellow, and blue. I was hoping for a red so I could make a purple, but it's fine. I ended up trying to make a different color of green by putting 2 drops of orange and 2 drops of blue. And I did about 4 drops in each. Next, I added some water. What I learned later is that you want to add just enough water to make it really thick, but not watery. I also learned that one of my tins had a tiny hole in it, so it started leaking. I ended up just cutting that one off. Luckily, it was one of my greens and not my precious blue or orange. Once I had put water in all of them, I noticed that some of them were still pretty runny, so I ended up adding in a little bit more baking soda to make each of them pretty thick. Once they are a nice thick consistency, you can either leave them out to dry for about 24 hours, or if you're impatient like me, you can pop them into the freezer for about 3 to 4 hours. Mine ended up taking about 3. So now they've had time to set and it's time to test them out. I know they're not going to be amazing quality, but I kept thinking, what if there's someone out there that wants to try watercolor paints but doesn't want to spend money to buy them? They can try this out and get a little taste of what you can do with them. Sorry, rant is over. So I'm going to try and test them next to my M. Graham watercolors. I'm going to use colors that closely match them. So I used my gamboge for the orange, sap green, and my ultramarine blue. now for the ultimate test. So I have to admit that first streak of yellow, I was pretty amazed. It was like watercolor. It's vibrant and really pretty, and I was really happy with the quality of it. The green, however, was a little rough and came out pretty light, but maybe I just didn't add enough green food coloring to it, or maybe I added too much water. Maybe if I'd waited for it to dry and did another layer, it would have worked, but for the sake of these lemon stems, I thought it was a pretty color. So overall, I think these are pretty great to try out, even if it's just for fun. Two things I did notice: as it dried, the baking soda stayed on the paper, so I waited for it to completely dry and then I brushed it off. Another thing, since I put it in the freezer, it started to melt really fast, so I think to get the best long-lasting results while using these would be to wait for them to dry naturally. And I might try that someday. Thanks for watching, and be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for videos each week.